Hello. I'm going to bring you to attempt 2. I'm doing these videos because I've been having a lot of flashbacks of my attempts. I think because I've been so low recently, my mind is like bringing me back to them. Like, it's that easy. Like, just remember them. Remember that experience, that feeling of like rest that you had after you did it. And I don't want to be back there. So I feel like if I get these off my chest, maybe those intrusive thoughts will stop going away. And maybe, just maybe, somebody will see this video that has some sort of political power that wants to help the thousands of people suffering with mental health. So, attempt 2 was July 3rd of 2018. So within a year of my first incident. And that day, I was desperate. I had been feeling so low and so down that I had asked to have Monday off work. And I couldn't get into my psychiatrist. The only doctor I could get into was my family doctor. So I went to my family doctor and dragged myself there and just like cried. It was like, I want to die and I hate this feeling. My meds is wrong. Something needs to be changed with my meds. It has to be meds. And he says to me, Lindsay, there can't be 2 cooks in the kitchen. You're going to have to see your psychiatrist. Only reason I'm here is because I can't get into my psychiatrist. And I said, that's what you have to say? There can't be 2 cooks in the kitchen? You think I find that fucking hilarious? Because I don't. So at that point, I was like having this feeling again that I can't help myself. The people that are supposed to be helping me with an MD, they're not helping me. And I'm back to the feeling I was in October. I'm feeling so worthless, so hopeless. In between October and now, I had actually been assaulted again. So at my sister's wedding, a gentleman decided to take it upon himself to inappropriately touch the women at my sister's wedding. He openly flirted with people way younger than him. And the one time that I did not sit with Corey on the tour bus, he took this opportunity to go up my pants, up my skirt, up my dress, whatever I was wearing at the time. And I was in so much shock. Is this freaking happening again? Like, what sign did I give that said, go up my skirt, my boyfriend's in front of me? No, I don't want you anywhere near my body. So his hand is up my skirt. And I have these like bulgy, shocking, scared as frig eyes. And he says, no dead of a lie, this won't escape me. Do you like that? Said, I will tell you, you need to stop. He asked me if I liked it. Why the frig would I like it? I don't know who you are. You're not my boyfriend. And without permission, you went up my skirt. Having a great wedding. So, this is on my head. A lot of stuff's going on at work. And these intrusive flashbacks of the work attack don't stop entering my head. Like, I literally was at a concert watching Little Big Town. And, I'm, picturing myself being dragged and beat up and attacked. And sometimes it's not even just the attack that got me out of work. It's like the attacks before that. It's when I went in to save a friend and I tried to block and deflect as good as I can to rip her arm out of his grip, and I got punched in the face 4 times. Anyways, I've got off topic. So a lot of shit has happened since October and between July. And I am just feeling like life isn't worth living. So I got back from my doctor's appointment. I had a month's worth of my prescription. So at this point, I'm still being given like a full month supply at a time. So now it's been cut back. I'm only allowed to be given 2 weeks at a time due to past episodes of Overdose. So Corey had come home for lunch and then left. And I said, okay, he's not going to be back until later. I can do it. Now, I've gone on what's called, I don't know what I call them. It's called a death walk in my head. I walk, and then that's going to be my final walk, and then I'm done. So I had done that before when Corey was away from work, when I really didn't feel like I had anybody. I went for a walk, and I was going to jump off the Guy Lombardo. And then I got to the Guy Lombardo Bridge, and I'm like, that's not very high. Shit, that's not going to work. So I just cried at the bridge until I walked to my friend Stephanie's, who lived at Wonderland and Commissioners. It was about a 5K death walk. But I'm sorry, I'm so sidetracked because I'm ADHD. I took over a month's prescription of my medication, my antidepressant medication, which is called Cipralex. I figured, this shit's strong. If I take 33 pills, I counted this time, because last time they kept asking me how many pills, and I didn't count. This time, when I put the amount of pills in like my my note, my suicide note, I wrote down how many. So then they knew. For some reason, I thought that was important. I hadn't written a suicide note in the past. This time, I was really sure about what I was doing. This time, I had done the things that people talk about. I had gotten rid of all of my money. I had impulsively purchased items. So this time was going to be my final. I purchased a house and emptied my savings account into that house so that Corey would never have to go back to bed in the house that I committed suicide in. He would have somewhere new to live. Well, the apartment. Got him a new couch. I even got him a bed shipped to our new house so that he wouldn't have to sleep on a bed that I slept on with him. I downed those 33 pills, and I started really feeling it. So at that point, I was worried my dog would be left alone for some reason. So I brought my dog to my neighbors in the apartment, which is 2 floors down. And I was just crying because I knew I had done something really bad, but I was still wanted it to happen. It was just taking a bit to soak in. So I gave the dog to my neighbor and cried in her foyer for like 10 minutes. And she is standing there with her newborn baby and her son, and who's like 4, who I think I'm traumatizing. So I run. I leave her apartment. Now, before I left, I did tell her that I had overdosed because she kept asking me, what, can you talk to me about it? In like a very calm way. And I said, I took 33 pills, Amanda. It's it. I'm done. I left her apartment. I was thinking enough about how I have to get out of here without them seeing me. My head is like still not feeling great because of all these pills, but I took the stairs to avoid the cameras in the elevator, went out the back door to avoid the cameras, and then left. So when I was thinking which way I'm going to go, I was like, I've already gone to the left down towards Wonderland to the Guy Lombardo. I know that's where they're going to go. So I went the opposite way so I could die alone. And I walked down Wonderland, and I went up Platts, and I sat under a tree at Platts just thinking for a while. Like, oh, it'd be so nice just under this tree here. This is a perfect spot. And then I started thinking, like, I just need to keep walking. This isn't it. This isn't the spot I'm meant to die. So I kept walking and kept walking and kept walking. And we lived at 316 Oxford, so that was across from Cherry Hill Mall. So I walked from our apartment onto the Western campus. And I made it going down Western Road. I passed the, 7-Eleven. And I started feeling this is not where I want to die. I'm, in the middle of a Western campus. If I can just make it to that bridge to jump off, I'll be good. So I was trying my hardest to make it to the bridge by University Hospital. And on my way there, I saw this man, and he had shoes that reminded me of Corey's. And those shoes just brought back flooded memories of my boyfriend. And I thought, what would I do to him if I was successful? What would that do? So I walked up to that man that I don't know. Well, I said, young guy, he's probably in his 20s. And I said, can I use your phone? Can you please call 911? I've just overdosed. And he sat with me in the grass, and we just picked grass. The only thing I remember him saying to me was, it's such a beautiful day. The sun was shining. The ambulance came. He walked me to the ambulance. I don't know his name, but whoever you are, you meant a lot to me that day, and you really saved me. And the ambulance driver was doing her report. And she said, oh, this is crazy. There's so many threes. I remember hearing this. She goes, the report, 1330 was when she, 1333 is when she picked me up. She asked me how many pills I'd taken. I said 33. She goes, wow, 1333 and 33 pills. And then she goes to write down the date, and it's July 3rd. And I just sat in silence until she had taken me to the hospital. Now, I didn't know at this point there had been a police that were looking for me. They had, taken my car apart, our house apart, trying to find where I would go. Kind of had like a search and rescue, I guess, out. I wasn't really aware of. So then I had cops coming up to me asking me all these questions. So I told them that I was walking that way so I could walk myself to the hospital. I don't know how I came up with that, but it's not really what I was doing. It's like, yeah, I knew I made a bad decision, so I decided to try and walk myself to the hospital. I don't know if they bought it or not, but I was so drugged up, that's all I could come up with. I was then again transferred to the mental health hospital that day. And I remember waiting to be checked by a doctor. I was experiencing extreme chest pain, like I felt like my chest was tearing apart. And I'm guessing it was probably because of the medication. They didn't pump my stomach or anything. They let it pass, which was really uncomfortable. I went through a lot of stages of the medication, either hurting my chest or my head, or when it comes out the next day. But again, to explain to you, I was released that day. I did not spend a night in the hospital. They sent me home with my boyfriend. So now, this is the second time that I have tried to take my life, and they have sent me home that day. This time, at least, they didn't send me home alone. They sent me home with my boyfriend. And then, less than a week later, my psychiatrist calls me in for an appointment, and I get there, and she says, you have the choice. You can either voluntarily do intake into the hospital, or we can form you. And a form is when they make you stay there because you're at risk to society or yourself. I thought, wow, it took you a week to figure out that I should have been hospitalized? In this week, I have just been pondering the many ways that I could kill myself continuously. And I did not go back to work after that attempt. I had 3 months off on EI. And then I ended up staying in hospital for 13 days to try and get my medication in check. But yeah, it was crazy to me to think that they would send me home that day. But then it obviously was important enough that I shouldn't have been sent home that my doctor called me that Monday to have me intake. And that it was needed enough that I had to be there for 13 days. So I get to the hospital and my room number is 113. And I basically was just in hideout for the first 5 days. I slept and I slept and I slept. I didn't do any groups. And eventually I came around. But I'm still slipping through the cracks. I never got that group therapy. They actually blacked me out because when the referral finally went through, I was so anxious about it that I didn't attend. So if you don't attend stuff you've been referred to, you're not allowed to go back to it because you've like basically wasted their time. So at this point, I can't go to any of the group therapies offered because I wasn't ready when I was originally referred to. And they just basically said, this is where you need to go. We push you into there. So eventually the referral did go through and I couldn't attend. I had written it down. I couldn't attend. So at this point, I'm not open to as many options at the hospital as I've not attended when I was supposed to. So finally, last week, I got referred to trauma therapy. It's 2019. So it took 2 suicide attempts and a 13-day hospital stay for them to assign me a social worker that I finally see weekly and to get me trauma therapy. Referral. At least referral. Hopefully this time it doesn't get lost. So that is my experience in the hospital. And it was really awkward because I worked at the Child and Parent Resource Institute for several years. So now I was on the opposite side of the glass. I was the one knocking on the glass to get help. Whereas I used to be inside the glass. So that was another thing to cope with. I still have nightmares. I still pick really bad. And I'm really hoping I'll eventually stop. But it's hard when you don't love yourself. But I woke up to the best note this morning. And it makes me want to love myself every day. When you receive this, it says, love you, babe. XOXO. He keeps me going. I love you.